Howdy y'all, this is Nick, and in this video I'm going to be doing a reseal on my Buick 3800 engine out of my Pontiac Grand Prix. I'm going to be doing the timing cover gasket, timing chain, oil pump, and the oil pan and the rear main seal. This is part 2 of like a 2-part series where I'm taking the motor out of my car, resealing it, putting it back in. So let's go ahead and get into it. So the first thing we're starting off with is installing the flywheel lock. Now before I get to that, I'm going to explain this real quick. With these Buick 3800s, I couldn't find anything online for a specific flywheel lock for this motor. I found like one form and there wasn't even a clear answer to what the tool was. So I went ahead and took a gamble on this Kent Moore. The part number is EN49010, and this was listed for the, I think the Chevy Traverse and Pontiac Torrent for the GM 3.4 motor. Was not listed for a Buick 3800, and I took a gamble on it, got it for like 14 bucks, and it fits in here perfectly like that. And all you got to do is reuse your starter bolts. So we're going to get that put in. So if anybody's been looking, I think you got your answer about where to go. Now, there wasn't any like brand new ones of these. There's no reproduction. They're all original. And I got this one on eBay. And I was way happy, surprised that this thing actually works. But it works, because the thing with these Buick 3800s is that they have the starter mounted on the left side, not the right side, like the LS motors. So I had ordered one for an LS motor. Of course, it didn't fit because it's backwards. But this one is perfect. There we go. And this bolt here, you got to replace this. So I've ordered, I got another one. So apparently these stretch. And then I have this specific puller that threads into there. Another thing with this flex plate, I've got the crank marked here, exactly where it goes. I also got where the torque converter goes. So. See how this comes off. It's a flex plate. And this, actually this is where I marked it here. I got that messed up. Always check your marks. It's not the right place. I marked right here. I need to get some paint marker. That's another thing that's good to have is paint marker. This is the kit right here, OEM Tools 37187. That's going to have the 1/4x28 GM V6 bolts. These are the special bolts that thread into here. So with this, you got to put this pin in and put this on like that, and it gives some extra support. I think it might actually, this might not be needed. I haven't done this in a while. I'll put the pin in. (9/16). That's tight. It's in position. Coming off. So I just there we go. There's the front main seal, rear main seal. Now this thing is ready for the stand. I'll show you these bolts real quick. These are, so the original bolts that came out are M12 by 1.75 by 45. These are M12 by 1.75 by 80. So there's like 3 bolts that are 80. You only need like 4 because there's only 4 mounting points on that stand. So but in this case I'm using 3 of these because there's 1 bolt for this flange right here that's not threaded. That's the opposite transmission bolt, pain in the ass bolt, that's already gone, and I'm not planning on getting a new one because it does fine without it. So yeah, I got a little extra one here, extra long. It's a 90 mil and a nut, and that should hold it all together. All right, so the next thing is getting this rear main seal plate out. You know, the seal comes out with the plate. I just gotta get all these bolts out, and then I'm gonna put the engine stand on, because the one thing is I'm trying to free this up as much as possible to check the crank for play, because I am concerned about this motor. It's got close to 300,000 miles on it. So we're gonna get into taking this off. There's a little coolant left in here. Get this out of the way. My sockets are going to get washed with coolant. So there we go. We got the rear main seal and the plate off. I don't know if this is the original seal, but it looks like it's been replaced before, which might be a bad sign. There's no record on this car of any of this type of work. Even this motor have no record of it being replaced, but I know that the VIN on it doesn't match the car itself. Yeah, so this is suspiciously new, but oh well. Just gonna replace it again and hope it doesn't leak again. That scooted right over. Alright, that's how you get that fucking thing on there. Oh. Alright, so now we gotta drain oil. Of course, this part is optional if you drained it in the car, but I drain it outside of the car. Coolant? Looks like coolant in the oil. What the hell? What the watery oil? What the hell? Uh-oh. That's not... I guess this oil pump timing cover gasket had a catastrophic failure, because that is not supposed to be mixed in with the oil. Okay, so the conclusion here was made that this motor, I guess, got a bit shaken up when we were taking it out, because I was for sure, before I did anything to this, before I even took it out, I had drained the oil and there was not coolant in it. And there's some water in that too. Okay, so the camera crashed while I was recording and I wasn't able to find the video. If I do find it, it'll be in here. But as far as I've gotten, I've taken the front timing cover off, and now I'm going to take the oil pan off. Ugh. Slinging oil at me. And exactly what I didn't want. Fucking thing off. I don't know why that keeps slipping. There we go. Whew. I hate that RTV shit. It gets fucking stuck on there and then you can't. That's going to be replaced with a gasket. What's this pickup tube? Now the other day I took the oil pan off of this and I found some awesome news about this motor. Now if y'all can see that, I'll probably just throw in a picture. But we got a trashed cam lobe. I'm not sure how that happened. I'm thinking it's corrosion. This motor was overheated in the past. I decided that I'm not going to ignore this issue because I know that I could go and reseal this whole thing, put it back together, and just have problems later on and have to pull it out and redo everything. So I'm going to be replacing the cam, the bearings, and the lifters. Now, as I mentioned, this had overheated in the past. When I got this car, it had 2 blown head gaskets. A couple of years ago, I put reman heads on it with brand new head gaskets. So I think it's totally worth it to put a new cam in. I'm also putting in a new timing set, so it just makes sense. So I got the timing cover and the filter adapter out of the wash, super clean, that I had mixed with water. I'm not sure. I think there's some minerals in the water that got deposited on the parts, so it's a little bit crustier than I expected. But basically what I do with these is I clean them up with a die grinder and 100 grit Rolock. This is probably the softest thing you can use on this. And yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get into cleaning these parts up as best as I can, getting all the minerals and crap off of it. There's a lot of pitting. Yeah, I'm not sure. I might have to replace this cover because it's, some of these covers, they leak so long that they just get destroyed, and it might not even be worth putting it back on. I might just have to order another one. So we'll see how it cleans up, if it's worth saving. The oil pump is right here. Front main seal is there. That's the cam sensor. Probably I'm just going to replace that cam sensor because it's all, this was all just covered in oil disaster. So yeah, there's a shit ton of pitting in that. This is more and more. Okay, so I messed up with the super clean. You're not supposed to use this on aluminum. That's why I was getting all that white powdery stuff inside of these parts. So I went ahead and re-soaked them in this Vaughn Haas parts cleaner. Had a couple of gallons of it, forgot I had it, and so far there's no corrosion. So that stuff is definitely better on aluminum. Probably anything other than super clean is better on aluminum. So I'm going to take these out, rinse them off. There we go. So the one thing with these fuel injector connectors is you got to get this clip up and then you can press down and release it. These things are pretty tricky. There we go. And over here we got the purge valve for the evap and the EGR. Get that off. And with this connector right here actually goes to the ignition harness. It's a separate ignition harness that runs behind here. It grounds on this and everything. And also on the ignition harness is your crank and your cam sensor. And this right here is your temp sensor harness. Temp sensor is right down there. I'm usually have to, you know, go around here and try to disconnect it. It's just going to come off with the manifold anyway, so I'm just going to leave that. Now you get your throttle body right here. There. Long time ago I put dielectric grease on these, and that probably was a bad idea. I'm gonna have to clean all these connectors anyway. Ow, fuck. That one connector. There we go. Yeah, more dielectric grease. I fucked up on that. Wow, this should be freed up. Is there anything down there? Nope. How bad I fucked this up. They look okay. Straps look okay. on the rail. Oh, there's oil in here.
Wow, wow, a lot of oil.
The hell? Mm-hmm.
Do you have your injectors in order or no?
Yeah, they're on the fuel rail. They're in order.
Oh, I see.
Oh, this snapped. That's interesting.
And I'm like, what snapped?
This bracket here. See that?
Wow, shit. Wow. Huh.
Okay, so I got all the bolts loosened up on this lower intake. Now I'm going to go ahead and just vacuum around so that no crap falls down in. There's a bunch of dirt around here. There's oil in that. You're supposed to put a thread sealant on these bolts, which I did. And other ones are dry. Okay, there's one more bolt hiding down there. Oh yeah, that's right. You got one in here. And of course you got one over there. That sucks. Oh, shit. This gasket here was getting a lot of heat. That's crap or something. I don't know why. I mean, all these other ones, and this is 2-year-old gasket here, and it's just, and these other ones seem okay. I don't know about that. That's weird. But here's all the lifters right here and the rods. Okay, so now what I gotta do is remove these rockers and rods, and I use a piece of cardboard to mark them so I know where they go back in. And then once that's out, I get these rails out, and then I can pull the lifters out. See how that goes. And then I'm going to come over here, align this timing up. There's a mark in each gear. Line them up, get it off, and then I'll be pulling the cam. So this is the front of the motor basically, because it's transaxle. This cylinder here would be number 1, 3, and 5. Pretty sure that's how that goes. All the odd ones are here, all the even ones are over here. So you got 2, 4, and 6. That shouldn't really be that hard to mark on a piece of cardboard. I'm also going to use a paint marker, mark them, put an arrow on them which way they go up. So I just got done marking all the rods, and this is basically my setup here. I took some paint marker and I marked each rod. I just put the cylinder number, and then of course I color coded. So orange is intake, yellow is exhaust, and then I'm just going to put the rods in here. The other thing to note is that these rocker arm bolts are torque to yield bolts, and they're only usable once. And I actually went and reused these not knowing, and they lasted 30,000 miles without an issue. Not saying you should do that, but I looked around, and the only place that I could find that actually had all the OEM rocker bolts are gone. They're discontinued. The only place that I could find that actually has those is ZZ Performance. They made these reusable bolts, so I'm going to try those. But just to take note of. And then these down here, these lifter guides, these bolts are reusable. They're not torque to yield, so that's okay there. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get these rockers off and rods and put them together. The thing with this is that it's kind of backwards. You know, you got intake and exhaust here, and then over here you got intake and exhaust. So, and you can match it with the exhaust manifold, exhaust, 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 and intake, 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 and there you go. And then what I would do with these is I just, instead of spending a bunch of time cleaning them and marking them, I just put them with the rods, and it's no big deal. And you see I just got myself with that because this is intake, that's intake. That's actually where that's supposed to exhaust. And of course, the way I have these marked, that's pretty much up, so I don't have to worry too much about that. Not seeing any damage, so that's good.
Garage is much nicer. I can walk right straight through it. Look at you. Then an intake for number 3. How do I know that? Intake for number 3.
The rest of them are marked.
Yep. How come this one's not standing straight up? What's going on there?
That had a lot of oil in it. Okay, now it's time to remove the lifter guides and pull the lifters out. See how that goes. Perfect. So that's gonna work.
Just take them out with your fingers.
How's that one? That's not fitting in there all the way.
That's okay. Editing's good.
Well, yeah, you can see this lifter's fucked. Look at that.
Wow. You have that on your camera thing?
I don't know why they don't pop in.
That's popped in, I think.
Okay. See how this one is? Clean.
Mm-hmm.
So yep, I'm looking at internal damage that could have. I caught it early. Oh, here's another one. That one's fucked. Look at that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Guess you could be the assistant. I can get that one out. Yeah, that one looks clean.
It's every other one. So which ones are the bad? The bad ones seem to be the. Is this intake or exhaust?
This one and this one.
Yeah, but Is that it? Do we have any?
Oh, look at this one. This one's freaking trash too. Oh, let me get to see this. Look at this. This is probably the worst one. Yeah, that's the worst one. Wow, I'm so glad I did this because this motor was on the verge of just...
Those are intakes. That's what it looks like, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, this intake right here. That's intake. Yeah, those are all intake.
The exhaust ones are clean. Wow, that's amazing. Let me just have a quick look here. Yeah, that's the intake. Usually you'd expect out of the exhausts. These are nice. The exhausts are real nice.
Caught that really early. That was about to be a disaster. That was one of these lifters grenading itself. It would have friggin' trashed this motor. That's clean. That's an intake.
And
that's a clean exhaust.
So now we're just looking at the 1 to 5 bank.
This one's kind of not. There we go. That's clean.
And this worst one,
Mm-hmm.
I think, is associated with that lobe you found.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting how so far there's no... That's clean.
So now it's associated with the...
This is that one side.
Yeah, that one side.
Is there more of it? This one's... Of course, it's the last one. There we go. That one looks okay. It's kind of rough to get out.
Yeah, but it's clean. It's not damaged.
Yep, that just further verifies that these actually this is the worst one. It is friggin' gouged to hell.
Can your camera see that?
I don't know, probably. I think.
Where's your remote phone thing?
Wow. Okay, so we're going to be pulling the cam today, but the first thing we got to do is get the timing chain off. And how you do that is you get your timing marks aligned first. So there's a mark right here, mark right here. You get the mark down here, you get them lined up right there. 24 mil socket. I'm using an old crank bolt. You have to replace these crank bolts because they're torque to yield bolts. They stretch. Getting these timing marks pretty close. Let's say that's good. Okay, now that you got your timing marks lined up, the next thing you got to do is take the tension off the chain. So the tensioner comes off next. This crank bolt you're also going to want to leave on when you take the cam bolt off. Now, one thing I realize is that I'm replacing the crank bolt, and I might as well replace the cam bolt as well, because I realize that the cam bolt is actually a torque to yield bolt as well. It requires an additional 90 degrees. Pretty much anything that requires an additional angle torque, I call it a torque to yield bolt. That may or may not be accurate, but to me, I'm not going to take a gamble. If I'm replacing the crank bolt, I might as well replace the cam bolt as well. OEM for the cam bolt is discontinued. ZZ Performance was the only one that had the bolt for 10 bucks, so I went ahead and ordered that along with the rocker arm torque to yield bolts. Well, that broke. Yeah. So this tensioner here is in pretty rough condition. It just threw a piece of it out, so the next thing, other than getting the cam bolt off, is measuring this chain tension, chain stretch, just to make sure that the new timing kit doesn't have a worse stretch on it, and that it might be a reject kit. So I just measure from the center, and in this of the crank, or at least what I think is the center, and then I stretch it out as far as I can. And in this case, it stretches out to, oh, this thing's a mess. Seems to stretch out 3 inches. So we'll see how the other one is. Yeah, this thing. Oops. The fuck happened there? Oh, what? Okay, that's what happened. There wasn't anything stupid thing. It popped out the other end. Oh, I have to figure out how to fish that out. There we go. Okay, so this retainer has some torque screws in it, and those are T30s. So I'm gonna see how well they come out. There. Nasty oil smell. Oh, wait, this. Let's use that as a holder tool. Okay, let's see how this goes. Oh. So there's your messed up lobe right there. How many other messed up lobes are there?
This one.
Yep.
There's another one.
How are these bearings?
Check them out. Worn out.
Yep. Now we're going to be on to cam bearings next. So, see you in a bit.